Okay, so this is kind of really hard for me to say because I'm a bit upset about it. But the whole thing with Stephen Hawking's death, um, rest in peace, brilliant man, obviously, no one is disputing that. But with his death, I'm seeing images and comments that are just so extremely ableist and upsetting. Um, I'll show you one here, for example. This image upsets me because it's basically saying now that Stephen Hawking is dead, he's free. He's free from his wheelchair, he's free from his disability, he's free from suffering. That is a damaging and dangerous idea, to put it as simply as I can. It wasn't Stephen Hawking's wheelchair that limited him. He was limited physically by his degenerative disability. No one can dispute that, of course. But he was more limited by what people thought he couldn't do now that he was a wheelchair user. He was limited by the universities he went to not being wheelchair accessible. He was limited by people not thinking he could achieve anything now that he was a disabled man. Stephen Hawking, first and foremost, was a brilliant mind. He was a genius. He discovered things about black holes, about time and space that most of us still can't fully comprehend. I know I can't, I still don't really understand what it was that he actually discovered, and that's on me. But to say that now that he's died, to go, now he's finally free. It was his wheelchair that set him free. My wheelchair, I'm sorry, my wheelchair is what gives me freedom. It's how I get through the world. It's what gives me the capacity to have a good quality of life. And by seeing images like that really hurt me, because it says that my life isn't valuable until I die, which I'm shaking because this makes me so emotional. But the thing with Stephen Hawking was he achieved so much, and he was a disabled man. He achieved what he did, and he was disabled. It wasn't his disability that stopped him from achieving. It's thoughts about our assistive devices, like wheelchairs, like canes, like breathing apparatuses. It's people seeing them as a weakness, as a hindrance that stops society from helping us, that makes people think that, oh, they're just in pain. That's their problem. I'm going to ignore it. Rather than going, oh, these are the things people need to live good lives. If people had more of these things, if people had things like this that worked better, their lives could be even better. And it's this idea of assistive devices as restrictive that stops us from making devices better, that stops us from truly including people with disabilities in our society. Sorry I got so emotional just there, but it's so incredibly, like, a part of who I am. Like, I can't imagine not having my wheelchair. Like, my wheelchair is what gives me the abilities that I have, essentially. Like, I couldn't go out and get groceries without my wheelchair. I couldn't see my friends. I couldn't, exercise. I couldn't do so much. And to think that when I died, people would try and take that away from me would be awful. Like, I am a wheelchair user. if that makes you sad, if that makes you uncomfortable, I can't help that. Like, be sad, be uncomfortable, but don't put that on me. Don't think that my life is less than yours because I use a wheelchair. I'm just using what I got, you know what I mean? I'm just doing the best I can with what I have. Stephen Hawking had even less than me, physically speaking, but he's done even more, so much more. His achievements are a testament to the hypocrisy that physical limitation has to limit your life in any way. It doesn't. It's your limited mentality that restricts people. It honestly is. And I think if we can get past this idea that devices are what limits people, I think we could do so much better for people like me, for ourselves. We can do so much better. We can understand each other so much better if we stop reducing disabled people down to their devices, down to what they can't do, and start accepting that we can achieve, we can do whatever we want to, but we need help. We need help from our devices, we need help from the people around us, and we need you to understand that that's okay. It's okay. So I went away to emotionally distance myself, and I've come back just because I had more to say and I wanted to say it properly. So basically my point in this video, to sum up, is that Stephen Hawking was not limited by his wheelchair. It was his wheelchair that set him free. That is my point. Assistive devices are what help us, not what hinder us. Please, please, do not keep this rhetoric of Stephen Hawking being set free from his wheelchair going, because it is severely hurtful and damaging to people like me who use assistive devices. And consider those when you share things to do with Stephen Hawking's death. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Bye.